Before he became everyone's favorite little hero, he was just a pup with a big heart and tiny paws. From chasing balloons to saving kittens, this is the story of how it all began. You're about to watch 20 tiny tales of friendship, bravery, and pure puppy chaos, all wrapped into one unforgettable journey. Let's dive in. He waited by the door, but no one came. The puppy stared at the door as the light faded. He watched as other animals were picked up one by one. He brought his favorite toy to the door and waited. As the minutes went by, he began to lose hope. Just as he was about to give up, the door creaked open. "There you are," shouted a small voice. The puppy had never been so happy to see a human. He licked the child's face as she hugged him tight. Sometimes love is just a little late. Once upon a time, there was a little puppy who loved his red balloon. One day the wind took it. He chased it across the park, dodging birds and branches, until it popped on a branch and he stared at it in horror. Just then, a kind raccoon appeared and asked if he could help. The puppy explained what happened, and the raccoon, being a wise and generous soul, brought him a new one, a beautiful blue balloon. This story teaches us that when we lose something precious, it can sometimes float back to us in an unexpected way. And that's the end of part 2. There is thunder, big thunder. You can tell by the way he wags his tail that he's saying, "I'm not scared." But his whole body is shaking like crazy. This is what it looks like when a dog tries to be brave but fails. But he said, "I'm not scared." So this little puppy puffs himself up to be brave, but he's shaking so hard the whole house is shaking. Then a tiny kitten jumps into his arms and says, "I'm scared." He looks at her for a second and comforts her despite his own fear, because bravery isn't loud, it's soft. This is the cutest thing I've ever seen a dog do. Do you think you could be brave like this dog? Let me know in the comments. This puppy had never seen snow before. So when it started falling from the sky, he thought the world was ending. He runs around in circles, barking at the falling snowflakes like it's raining cats and dogs. But then something unexpected happens. A big branch from a tree falls on top of him and buries him in snow. At first he's scared, but then he pops out and licks the snow off his nose. Then he lays down and makes a snow angel. This goes to show the world is full of firsts. If you like this video, stay tuned for more. This is the story of a little puppy who had big dreams. This puppy watched the birds and jumped. He watched them build their wings and thought, "I can do that." So he gathered some leaves and a stick and made himself a pair of wings. He wanted to soar through the sky like the birds, but he couldn't fly. So he did the next best thing. He built himself a pair of wings and jumped off a rock. To everyone's surprise, he didn't just fly, he flopped. But a bird that was watching landed on his head and took him for a ride. And although he didn't fly, he did make a new friend. This goes to show that even if you have little paws, you can still dream big. If you believe in yourself, anything is possible. He chased a butterfly and forgot the way back. So he's been walking around in the woods for hours and he's starting to get scared. The trees are tall and the shadows are long. Then out of the corner of his eye, he sees a glowing fox. It tilts its head and says, "You lost. Follow me and I will help." He follows the fox, hoping it will lead him out of the woods. And it does. It takes him through a hidden path that glows with bioluminescence. When they finally reach the edge of the woods, he turns to thank the fox, but it has disappeared. Just then, the moon rises, casting its light on the forest floor. And he can't help but smile. He has made it home safe. Everyone else got adopted, except him. Us. He tried to look cute, but all the people who came by just kept walking. So he stood up on one paw and held up a sign that said, "Take me." Though no one came. The other dogs in the shelter told him that maybe it was his looks that were scaring people off. As the days went by, he started to lose hope. One day, a little girl was excited to come to play with the dog. But then the lights went off in the shelter. The dog was left alone again. She screamed and then started crying. "Wait, I forgot my best friend." The little girl ran back into the shelter to get her new puppy. "You're my best friend now. The right heart always finds you." He thought the moon was a ball. He saw it, and he chased it. A little puppy who lived on a farm saw the moon for the first time and thought it was a ball. So he barked at it and climbed up the nearest hill to try and catch it. He looked up and saw the moon shining down on him, but the moon just kept moving further away. So he went up another hill, and then another one. Finally, he got so close he could almost touch it. And he slipped and fell right into a pile of glow bugs, which in this story are stars. He felt so tired from his adventure and the excitement of the day, he just closed his eyes and fell asleep under the sky. And you know what? When dreams that stay far away can light the path. See you tomorrow. A hungry squirrel was crying because he didn't have any food. The puppy hesitated for a second, but then he offered his last cookie to the squirrel. The squirrel was so grateful that he brought 10 of his furry little friends to say thank you, and they all showed up with cookies. He was so happy that he laughed and threw his head back. And then he started eating the cookies. He ate and ate until his tummy was full. He had so many cookies now that he could share with all of his friends. That's why the little puppy was so happy. You never know when you might need some help. This is why we always say, he who gives to others will always get back more than he gives. So be kind, little friend. Here's a story about a very small puppy who had a very big dream. He wanted to play soccer, but no one wanted him on the team. They said he was too small. So he sat on the bench all by himself, feeling sad and out of place. Then one day during the game, the ball got stuck in a hole. No one could reach it except for him. It was so small, he could fit right through the hole. So he reached in and grabbed the ball. At first, everyone was confused, but then he kicked the ball and scored the winning goal. They all clapped and cheered. Don't let anyone stop you achieving your dreams. He saw another dog in the dark, and it wasn't friendly. Copied his every move. He sneaks across the floor. He leaps behind the couch. It follows. The lights flicker. He growls. The shadows shift. He charges bravely at the enemy, but it's too quick. It dodges his attack, and he crashes into a lamp. At first, he's scared of the dark, but then he notices something. The creature he's been fighting isn't an enemy at all. It's just his own shadow. So the little dog curls up beside his shadow, and they become best friends forever. Sometimes, the scariest things are just part of you. This little doggo was on a mission. To everyone else, it was just a rock. But to him, it was family. So when the squirrels tried to steal it, he built a little bed to guard it. He didn't let the rain or the mud or the slippery slope stop him from doing what he had to do. But then a storm hit, and the rock rolled away. It bounced off the sidewalk and down a storm drain. The doggo was sad, but then he had an idea. He dove into the rain, slid down a muddy hill, and pulled the rock out like a hero. When he was done, he placed it gently back in its blanket. And that's why he's the hero of this story. Bravery has no size limit. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Agent Fluff, a superhero story. The intruder was spotted, package in hand. Our intrepid hero takes off his spy goggles, leaps into action with a grappling leash, and does a ninja flip behind a bush. Then jumps out and lets out a mighty roar to defend his yard, only to land right in the arms of a mailman. Then the mailman turns to him and says, "Mission complete, Captain Fluff. You win this time." As the mailman opens the package, Agent Fluff looks on curiously and hands him a treat. With a wag of his tail, Agent Fluff salutes his new friend proudly. Not all missions end in battle. A cactus stole his throne, his window throne. He brings tools to the battle. Oven mitts, a spatula, sunglasses. And then he starts pushing the cactus across the floor like a bulldozer. But just when it looks like he's about to reach his window throne, a dramatic standoff ensues. The cactus wins. For now at least, until the family moves it. And that's when he makes his move. He climbs into the sunspot like a king returning to his rightful place. And now you know the story of why this puppy is so obsessed with the sun. All legends have to start somewhere. This is where his legend began. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. This puppy's teddy went into the belly of the beast, the washing machine. He slammed his paw down on the button. He barked once, then twice. Something beeped, and the lights turned red. Whoosh! A giant spray of water shot into the air like a geyser. Now, he's soaked. The puppy's teddy is nowhere to be seen. Was it eaten by the washing machine? Then, just when you think it's too late, bam, Teddy reappears in the flood. Soaked, but safe. The puppy then proceeds to dry it off with a hairdryer, then snuggles up tight to his now very wet teddy bear. Real heroes rescue who they love. They said yoga was peaceful, not with him around. Cue the chaos. He steps onto the mat, tail up, tongue out. Time for warrior pose. One paw up, one leg back. Wobble, wiggle. Bam, he crashes like a floppy noodle. But wait, he's not done. He spins, twists, lands in lotus pose like a furry little Buddha. The room gasps. Then he does something no one expects. He tries to stand up. Slips, rolls through the air, mid-spin, and lands in the flying pup. Tail perfectly balanced, eyes closed. Accidental genius. Everyone stares. Then one by one, they copy him. I'm at squeak, tails wag. The class is now his. He bows, peaceful, powerful, fluffy. Master your mess, and you master the moment. It was loud, it was fast, and it was coming for him. The vacuum, the beast, the growling monster with wheels. He had trained for this, prepared for days. Okay, minutes. Operation, Potastic Defense, engage. He sets a trap, a wall of tennis balls stacked high like a fortress. Then squeaky decoys deployed with precision. But the vacuum doesn't stop. It barrels through. He leaps from the couch. Time slows, midair, paw outstretched. Target locked. Smash right on the power switch. ... Silence. The vacuum is dead. He blinks. Did he just win? A cape flaps behind him. He is a hero. He struts past the battlefield. Tennis balls, Fluff, one squeaky frog. He doesn't look back. Legends never do. Fear conquered. One sandwich, 100 threats, one tiny bodyguard. Our hero sets out on his puppy patrol, growling at any who would dare disturb his sandwich. He paces back and forth, glares at the crows, kicks the ants away, and plays dramatic music on his phone. So our hero takes a break from his sandwich duty to take a nap, and when he wakes up, only crumbs are left. He looks around for the culprit and sees his goldfish, who seems very pleased with himself. Our hero is not pleased. He swims over to the fishbowl and gives it a little nudge. The goldfish stares back at him, unapologetic. The puppy's owner is disappointed, but our little guard dog is so cute, it's hard for anyone to stay mad at him for long. Guarding duty is hard when you're soft. The day his bark vanished. He opened his mouth, and nothing came out. What? No bark. The dog tries barking. The dog tries howling. All of a sudden he meows. And then he goes to the mirror and practices in the mirror. Then he takes a big deep breath and hiccups. Burps. A huge burp. The plant falls over. And then he starts barking again. So loud. The payoff is so worth it. He's so happy to have his bark back that he runs around the house howling. This dog is proof that even silence has a soundtrack. You just gotta listen closely. Subscribe and come back tomorrow for more stories. Keys in the ignition. Puppy. One tiny paw on the wheel. Big dreams in those puppy eyes. First he turns the wheel. Left, right, left again. Is ready for NASCAR. Then he finds the horn. Beep, startles himself. Barks at it. Tits it again on purpose. Beep! He's having fun now. Suddenly the lights flash on. Dashboard glows like a spaceship. He's mesmerized. He lifts one paw. Reaches for the gear shift. Uh-oh. The car moves. It's just an inch. His eyes go wide. Panic mode. Activated. He dives under the seat, tail wagging furiously. The car is haunted. The family comes running. They peek inside, under the seat. Holding the keys in his mouth like he meant to do it. Smirking. Looking way too proud. Some journeys. Thanks for joining us on this tail-wagging adventure. If your heart melted even once, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more Puppy Chronicles. And if you want more tiny adventures, check out our shorts playlist for quick smiles, laughs, and love.